Once upon a time, a grandfather told his grandchildren the story of Chike, the Christmas bride price. First, let us know where you are watching from. Chike had it all figured out. The velvet box in his jacket pocket held a diamond ring that cost him 3 months' salary. And tomorrow, Christmas Eve, he would finally pay Amara's bride price. 3 years of dating, countless video calls during her master's program abroad, and now, finally, the moment to make her his wife. He knocked on the ornate wooden door of the Okafor family compound in Enugu, his heart hammering against his ribs. The December sun blazed overhead, but sweat trickled down his spine for entirely different reasons. Amara opened the door, her face lighting up like the Christmas lights strung across the compound. You came early. Papa is waiting. But something flickered in her eyes. Was it worry? Chief Okafor sat in his high-backed chair like a king on a throne, surrounded by his brothers and cousins. The sitting room smelled of palm wine and fried chin-chin. Chike had brought everything: cola nuts, hot drinks, fabric for the women, enough money to show respect to a family of Chief Okafor's standing. My son, Chief Okafor began, his voice deep as a drum. You have shown respect. You have shown patience. But before we accept your bride price tomorrow, there is one more tradition. Chike's stomach tightened. One more tradition. Amara hadn't mentioned anything else. Chief Okafor leaned forward, his eyes sharp and assessing. In my family, we have a sacred custom passed down from my great-grandfather. A man who wishes to marry an Okafor daughter must prove he has a heart worthy of her. You must complete 3 acts of kindness for strangers before Christmas Day. Not small gestures, real acts that require sacrifice. Only then will we know your love is not just words. The room fell silent except for the whir of the ceiling fan. But sir, Chike stammered, Christmas Eve is tomorrow. Yes, the chief said, a slight smile playing on his lips. You have until midnight tomorrow. Amara will accompany you to witness each act. But there is a condition. You cannot use your own money for these acts of kindness. You must earn or receive what you need through your own efforts. Chike felt the walls closing in. And if I fail, then you are not ready to marry my daughter. Chief Okafor's voice was final. And you will not be welcome to try again. Amara grabbed his hand, squeezing hard. When he looked at her, tears shimmered in her eyes. You knew about this, Chike whispered as they walked away from the compound. I didn't think Papa would actually do it, Amara said, her voice breaking. This tradition, Chike, only one man has ever completed it. My grandfather, when he married my grandmother. 2 other men tried and failed. Papa has been waiting for someone worthy. Welcome to Tales by Nina.
Amara looked away. One of them was a man my older sister loved. They never married. The weight of it settled on Chike's shoulders like a sack of cement. He checked his phone, 3:47 p.m. On December 23rd, less than 32 hours. We'll figure this out, he said, trying to sound confident. But his mind was racing. 3 acts of kindness requiring sacrifice. No money of his own, and witnesses to verify each act. This was impossible. They walked through the bustling Ogbeat market. Past stalls of tomatoes and dried fish. Past tailors hunched over sewing machines. Past the chaos of last-minute Christmas shopping. And then Chike saw him. An old man sat on the ground. His leg twisted at an unnatural angle. An empty bowl in front of him. But what caught Chike's attention was the sign propped against the wall behind him. Need 50,000 naira for operation. By December 26th or lose my leg. God bless. 400 naira collected. That's your first act, Amara whispered. It has to be, but I need 50,000 naira. And I can't use my own money. How am I supposed to figure it out? Her voice was fierce. Because if you don't, we lose everything. Chike approached the old man. Papa, what is your name? Matsi Akoli, my son, Matsi Akoli. I'm going to get you the money for your operation. Before Christmas Day. The old man's eyes widened. Then narrowed with suspicion. Many people promise. No one delivers. I will, Chike said. Though he had no idea how. He spent the next hour calling everyone he knew. But it was Christmas time, everyone had expenses, everyone had plans. His best friend could spare 5,000. His colleague, 3,000. His cousin was traveling. His uncle laughed and hung up by 7 p.m. He had only 8,000 naira in promises. We need a miracle, Amara said. pacing outside a closed pharmacy. Chike noticed a small crowd gathering near the motor park. Music blared from speakers. And a young man with a microphone was hyping up the crowd. Step right up. Test your strength. Hit the bell, weight rise high enough to ring a bell at the top. But Chike watched 3 muscular men fail. Each paying 2,000 naira for the attempt. That's a scam, Amara said. The game is rigged, but Chike had played university athletics. He understood leverage and physics. And he had an 8,000 in promises he could collect right now. What are you doing? Amara asked as he walked toward the game operator. Something crazy, he said. Do you trust me? She looked at him for a long moment, then nodded. Chike collected the 8,000 naira from his friend's money he now had to win back and multiply. He had 4 attempts. If he failed, Matsi Akoli would lose his leg. And Chike would lose Amara. What happened to the men who failed? Win 20,000 naira. Who will be our Christmas champion? The game was simple: swing a mallet and make a weight rise high enough to ring a bell at the top. But Chike watched 3 muscular men fail. Each paying 2,000 naira for the attempt. That's a scam, Amara said. The game is rigged, but Chike had played university athletics. He understood leverage and physics. What are you doing? Amara asked as he walked toward the game operator. Something crazy, he said. Do you trust me? She looked at him for a long moment. Then nodded. Chike collected the 8,000 naira from his friends' money. He now had to win back and multiply. He had 4 attempts. If he failed, Matsi Akoli would lose his leg. And Chike would lose Amara, The first swing, he adjusted his grip. Remembered his physics professor's lesson about angular momentum. The weight rose 3/4 of the way. Close, but not enough, the crowd murmured. Amara covered her face. Second swing, he planted his feet differently. Twisted his hips with the momentum. The weight climbed higher, higher. And stopped just inches from the bell. Last attempt. The operator shouted, grinning. He thought he had another victim. Chike closed his eyes. He thought about Amara's tears. About Matsi Akoli's twisted leg. About Chief Okafor's test. This wasn't about strength. It was about sacrifice. About risking everything for a stranger, Third swing, he put every ounce of his body behind it. Felt something pop in his shoulder. Ignored the pain. The weight shot up the rail like a rocket, clang. The bell rang clear and true across the motor park. The crowd erupted. The operator's face went pale. Ah, we have a winner. Congratulations. Chike collected his 20,000 naira. Plus his 8,000 naira stake back. He immediately went to 3 different vendors. Negotiated buying their remaining Christmas inventory at a discount. Then sold it at the motor park for a quick profit. By 11 p.m., he had 53,000 naira. They found Matsi Akoli exactly where they'd left him. Papa, Chike said, kneeling down and pressing the money into his hands. For your operation, the old man counted it, his hands shaking. Tears rolled down his weathered face. My son. You came back. You actually came back. Take a picture, Amara said softly. Documenting the moment for her father. And Papa. Please come to the Okafor compound tomorrow at 6 p.m. to verify this act. Matsi Akoli nodded, clutching the money to his chest like it was life itself. Which, Chike supposed. It was, as they walked away. Chike's shoulder throbbed. But he'd completed the first act, 2 more to go. Less than 24 hours remaining, if you're still watching. Thank you so much. Kindly like, comment and subscribe to more true life stories like this by your favorite storyteller. Chike barely slept that night. His shoulder had swollen to twice its normal size. And every movement sent lightning bolts of pain down his arm. But by 6 a.m. on Christmas Eve, he and Amara were back on the streets. We need to find someone who needs help, Amara said. But how do we know what qualifies as an act worthy of? A woman's scream cut through the morning air. They ran toward the sound and found chaos. A small house was on fire, black smoke pouring from the windows. A young woman stood outside, screaming, held back by neighbors. My children. My babies are inside. Please, somebody help. Chike didn't think. He wrapped his shirt around his face and ran toward the burning house. Chike, no. Amara's voice was a distant echo. The heat hit him like a physical force. Smoke filled his lungs. He dropped low, remembering something about smoke rising. Crawled through the hellish interior. The roar of flames was deafening. Hello. Where are you? A small cough, barely audible. He followed the sound to a bedroom where 2 children, a boy about 6 and a girl maybe 4, huddled under a wet blanket. Come, he shouted, though his voice was raw. He grabbed both children, felt his injured shoulder scream in protest. Staggered back toward where he thought the door was. The smoke was too thick. He couldn't see. Couldn't breathe. Then hands grabbed him, neighbors had rushed in. They pulled him and the children out into the blessed fresh air. Just as part of the roof collapsed. Behind them. The mother fell on her children, sobbing. The crowd that had gathered was cheering, but Chike couldn't hear them properly. His ears were ringing, and the world tilted sideways. He woke up in a clinic 20 minutes later, an oxygen mask on his face. Amara sat beside him, tears streaming down her cheeks. You idiot, she whispered. You beautiful, crazy idiot. You could have died. The children. His voice was a croak. Safe. Scared, but safe. She showed him her phone. She'd filmed everything, the rescue. The grateful mother, the testimony of a dozen witnesses. This definitely counts as your second act. Chike tried to sit up, but his body rebelled. The doctor, a stern woman in her 50s, pushed him back down. You have smoke inhalation. A dislocated shoulder that you somehow didn't notice was dislocated. And second-degree burns on your hands. You need rest. What time is it? 2 p.m. 10 hours until midnight. One more act to go. I need to leave, Chike said, pulling off the oxygen mask. You need to rest, the doctor insisted. Please, Amara said to the doctor. This is important. More important than you can imagine. Something in her voice made the doctor pause. Fine. But you're paying for these bandages, and if you collapse again. I'm admitting you whether you like it or not. Outside, the Christmas Eve festivities were in full swing. Families were heading to church services. Market women were selling the last of their goods. The world was celebrating, but Chike felt like he was running out of time. What kind of act could possibly top saving children from a fire? He muttered, looking at his bandaged hands. They wandered for an hour, then 2. Chike approached people who looked like they needed help. But nothing felt significant enough. A woman needed help carrying groceries, too small. A man needed directions, too simple. A vendor needed help setting up, not a sacrifice. By 6 p.m., panic was setting in. They had verified the second act with the children's mother, who had come to the Okafor compound with her children and told Chief Okafor everything through grateful tears. Matsi Akoli had come too, sharing his testimony. But one act remained. 6 hours left. Maybe we should pray, Amara suggested as they sat on a bench near St. Paul's Cathedral. That's when Chike saw the poster on the church wall. Christmas Eve blood drive, urgent need, lives depend on you. Blood, he whispered. That's it. But when they went inside, the nurse looked at Chike's bandaged hands and smoke damaged lungs and shook her head immediately. Sir, you're in no condition to donate blood. Your body needs to recover. Please, Chike begged. How much blood do you need? We have a 10-year-old girl who needs surgery tonight. Rare blood type, O negative. We need 3 pints, and we only have 1 donor so far. Without it, she won't survive until morning. Chike rolled up his sleeve. Test me. Sir, I just said. Test. Me. The nurse tested him. O negative. A match. But you've been through trauma today, the nurse protested. Donating blood in your condition could be dangerous. You could faint, go into shock. There's a little girl who needs to live, Chike said quietly. That's all that matters. Amara grabbed his good arm. Chike, she's right. This is too dangerous. You've already done 2 impossible acts. Maybe we can find another way. There is no other way, he said, meeting her eyes. You heard her. The girl won't survive until morning. Sometimes love means risking everything. He lay on the donation bed at 7:30 p.m. The nurse inserted the needle. And his blood began flowing into the bag. His world started to blur around the edges almost immediately. His body, already pushed to its limits, was struggling. Chike. Amara's voice sounded far away. Chike, stay with me. Talk to me. Tell me about our wedding, he mumbled. What will you wear? Traditional George fabric, she said, her voice cracking. Gold and coral beads. And you'll wear your Iziagu, looking so handsome. Our families will dance, and we'll feed each other jollof rice, and keep talking. The bag filled slowly. 1 pint. 2 pints. Chike's vision went gray at the edges. The bag filled slowly. 1 pint. 2 pints. Chike's vision went gray at the edges. That's enough, the nurse said urgently. We can't take more. How much do you have? Chike whispered. 2.5 pints. It might be enough, but take the rest. Sir, I cannot. That girl needs to live. His words were barely audible now. Promise me. She lives. The nurse's eyes filled with tears. She nodded and let the donation continue until they had 3 full pints. The moment the needle came out, Chike's eyes rolled back. The world disappeared. Imagine such love. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe and hit the notify button to stay in touch for our new videos. Thank you so much. Chike woke to singing. His eyes fluttered open, and for a moment, he thought he was in heaven. Then he recognized the hymn, "O Come All Ye Faithful," drifting through the window. He was back at the clinic. Amara was asleep in a chair beside him, her hand clutching his. And 4 drip-fed fluids into his arm. What time? He croaked. Amara jerked awake. Chike. Oh, thank God. She checked her phone. It's 11:15 p.m. 45 minutes until midnight. The 3rd act, he asked. Documented. The nurse testified. The girl's mother came in. Amara's voice broke. The surgery was successful. Chike. That little girl is going to live because of you. Then we need to get to your father. You can barely stand. Help me up. They made it to the Okafor compound at 11:47 p.m. The entire extended family was there. Along with Matsi Akoli, the mother whose children Chike had saved. And the mother of the little girl who'd needed blood. The doctor from the clinic had come too. Chief Okafor sat in his chair, his expression unreadable. My son, he said as Chike limped into the room. Supported by Amara. You look half dead. I feel 3/4 dead, sir. A ripple of laughter went through the room. We have heard testimony of your acts, Chief Okafor continued. You raised money through your own effort and sacrifice to save a stranger's leg. You risked your life in fire to save children you had never met. You gave your own blood, despite being injured, to save a dying child. He stood up slowly, walked to Chike, and placed his hands on Chike's shoulders. Chike winced but didn't pull away. But here is what troubles me, the chief said, his voice soft now. Each act nearly killed you. What kind of man risks everything, his health, his life, his future, for strangers? Chike met the old man's eyes. The kind of man who wants to be worthy of your daughter, sir. You asked for acts that require sacrifice. Love without sacrifice isn't love at all. The room was silent. Except for the distant sound of Christmas carols and fireworks welcoming Christmas Day. Thank you for watching till this point. Please subscribe and leave a heart in the comment. The room was, except for the distant sound of Christmas carols and fireworks welcoming Christmas Day. Chief Okafor's stern face cracked. A tear rolled down his cheek. "My son," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "You have passed the test. But more than that, you have shown me something I had forgotten. You have shown me that there are still men in this world who understand what it means to love sacrificially." He turned to the assembly. "I accept this man's bride price. He has proven himself worthy, not because he is rich, not because he is educated, but because when faced with the choice between comfort and compassion, between safety and sacrifice, he chose love every single time." The room erupted in celebration. Drums appeared from nowhere. Women began to dance. Someone pressed a glass of palm wine into Chike's hand, though Amara quickly took it away, muttering about medication. Amara wrapped her arms around him gently, careful of his injuries. "You crazy, wonderful man," she whispered against his chest. "You did it." "We did it," he corrected. "What now?" she asked. Chike smiled despite the pain. Now we plan a wedding. But maybe something simple. I don't think I can handle any more tests." Chief Okafor overheard and laughed, a deep, booming sound. "No more tests, my son. You have proven everything you needed to prove. Though I must ask, how does your shoulder feel?" "Like it's been hit by a mallet, set on fire, and drained of blood, sir." "Good," Chief Okafor said, his eyes twinkling. "Then you are truly ready for marriage. The rest of life will feel easy by comparison." As the clock struck midnight and Christmas Day officially began, Chike pulled Amara close, ignoring his protesting body. Around them, their families celebrated, two families becoming one. Strangers becoming witnesses to love. A sacred tradition fulfilled. "Best Christmas ever?" Amara asked. Chike thought about Matsi Akoli, who would keep his leg. About two children who would grow up because someone ran into a burning house. About a little girl who would celebrate many more Christmases because someone gave blood when they had almost none to spare. Best Christmas ever, he agreed. Though next year, let's just stick to exchanging presents. But even as he said it, he knew the truth, he had given the greatest present of all. Not the diamond ring still sitting in his jacket pocket. Not the bride price money, but the gift of himself. And in return, he had received something infinitely more valuable. He had received love, tested by fire, proven by sacrifice, and blessed by the grace of a Christmas miracle. If you enjoyed our story, kindly like, comment, share and subscribe for more stories. Hit notify button to keep informed always. You are most appreciated for watching Tales by Nene, your storyteller. Thank you.